What's happening, family? Welcome back to another edition of the Try Life On podcast. Hope everything is good in your world. For context, today is April the 26th. Going to introduce you to my man, Gian Verri. Amazing person. He's an entrepreneur, investor, and educator, and his career is diverse. And let me tell you about his career, and I'll tell you why I brought him on the show, how it all came to be, and how it relates to your Try Life On journey. So he was a founding member of Granite Telecommunications, a company that he helped grow to $2 billion. It's out of Massachusetts, where I grew up. He's also the co-founder of 333 Properties, which is a real estate investment firm based in Boston. That company focuses on managing and acquiring commercial and residential properties in the Boston area and also southern New Hampshire. So obviously we have that real estate tie. But the biggest tie we have is his wealth building project. So in 2022, John launched the Wealth Building Project, which is an educational initiative aimed at redefining the concept of wealth beyond material possessions, especially for young inner city knucklehead kids like myself from back in the day. And he is all about educating people to the power of wealth, not from what you can have with it, but what it can do for a very informed, aligned life. Very much in line with my Try Life On philosophy and my own movement. And one of the reasons John reached out to me is because he wanted me to be part of his wealth building project as an educator, given my own journey on the road to financial freedom and where I came from, how I grew up, and how my example might be beneficial to the types of people he's trying to include in his wealth building project. So in December of 2024, he retired out of Granite Communications. Interestingly, just like my journey with Accenture, he was always corporate while he was having an entrepreneurial endeavor. Now, here's the reason why I am including this conversation on the Try Life On podcast on your behalf. When John called me, he was in Mexico at his home. So he splits time between Boston and Mexico, whereas I split time between coastal Maryland and coastal Lebanon with an occasional stint in Cyprus. I happened to be in Cyprus reviewing some real estate projects that I have there, and John was in Mexico, just at his other home. And while we were having the conversation about the wealth building project, it also turned into a conversation of two corporate types who were also entrepreneurs who have quickly realized that there is value in deleveraging what we have done in our lives from a business perspective. There is value in deleveraging what we have done in our lives from a business perspective. So all of us, whether it's entrepreneurial, corporate, or whatever it is you do from a professional perspective, formal education taught us we got to get out there, we got to build it. Society's definitions of success imply you have to keep building. If you have 1 million, you should have two. If you have 2 million, you should have four. If you have 4 million, you should have eight. If you have one apartment, you should have two. If you have two apartments, you should have four. If you have four apartments, you should have eight. I thought this conversation was very relevant to the topic of there are people who have quote unquote made it, whatever made it means. And that's not always a financial definition. But there are people who have gotten to a certain point in their professional career who recognize that building forever or constant growth just for the sake of constant growth just does not make sense. Social media will never promote that. The Instagram version of success will never promote that. Everybody has to be like Mark Zuckerberg. Everybody has to be like Elon Musk and have this company, then this company, then this company, then this company. And that's why I like John so much. He and I are very like-minded, and I think you'll feel a bit of a bromance happen where we start to realize we are very like-minded in the way that we approach our lives, our time freedom, our financial freedom, our mobility, to be able to get back and forth from different countries and have wonderful experiences around the world with wonderful people. Very like-minded in conversation, which is why I wanted to bring this to you. And actually, one more thought before we get into the conversation. You know who my hero is? In addition to John, one of my heroes is Tom Anderson. If you remember Tom Anderson, he was the MySpace founder, predecessor to Facebook and Instagram and all the social media platforms. Tom sold MySpace, I think, for 500 million. His cut of it was something like 35, 40 million dollars. Nobody knows where Tom is today. What Tom decided to do is once he sold his company, he just shut it down in favor of taking this beautiful planet and what source, God, universe has given us and enjoying it. He didn't feel the need to build more. I'm not on Instagram anymore. I'm not on Facebook anymore. But I know that Tom has an Instagram profile. And since he left or sold MySpace back in the day, he did a few business things. But in general, he became a photographer and started traveling around the world taking a lot of photos. And I can guarantee you it doesn't cost him $40 million to take photos. I guarantee he's living on a couple thousand, maybe $10,000, $20,000 a month. He's my kind of hero because he sees the simplicity in life. John is my kind of hero because he sees the simplicity in life and also because he wants to give back to people through the wealth building project and other initiatives that he has going on. So I wanted to bring to you my friend Gian Verri from my hometown of Boston, Massachusetts, as an example of someone who really has been successful, but has taken a step back to try life on even more. And we want to get that concept to you. It is okay to get off of society's notion of constantly building in favor of constantly living. That, my friends, is trying life on. And John is a great example of it. I hope you love this episode. If you do, please consider giving me a 5-star review. Actually, please go back into Spotify and Apple iTunes. There are hundreds of thousands of you now listening to the podcast, and not enough of you have rated the podcast. It would very much so be appreciated by me to get this messaging out to more people. So please rate the podcast when you can. But for now, sit back, relax, have a great time listening to my man, Gian Verri, talk about wealth building project, life, love, and all things trying life on. Talk to you soon. I never know if I'm
yeah.
When I'm
never know.
When you say more or less is more, I had the feeling that something's going on with you to that perspective. But even in my journey, it's really coming up because I'm starting to deleverage everything.
Yeah.
It's I don't want this constant, insatiable appetite for infinite growth forever, unless it's internal. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
But like, I don't need to acquire that many more buildings or maybe any more at all.
Right.
I'd rather be where I'm sitting in this place called Sam's in northern Cyprus, which is the Turkish part of Cyprus, sitting on my 10-year-old laptop, having calls today, having a beer and a steak while I had my calls, knowing that I don't need a lot to live this way at all.
Right.
You know, I'd much rather just be plugging into the planet and Earth. And we should be living like this from my perspective. I mean, depending on what people's goals are, but more forever makes no sense.
So what I love, Maurice, about the try life on concept is that the basis of everything you do is peace of mind. So everything you were just saying to me is geared towards peace of mind, and everybody has a different barometer that they have towards peace of mind. And what you're saying, you and I are both in the real estate business, and I'm 1,000% in agreement with you that there are times when you have to take your chips off the table. And there are times when you have to, as we refer to in the business, deleverage, which simply means reducing our exposure where it doesn't make us comfortable. And so wealth for me is really about wellness. It's really the root of the word. And that's what the wealth building project is. But at the same time, why I love your movement and why I'm doing what I'm doing with the wealth building project is because I'm trying to gear everything that I'm doing right now towards empowering individuals that will later
Okay.
empower communities. And
Yep.
I'm hoping to form, really, maybe it's not a partnership, I would say, but just being able to stay connected with the people who share in my value system.
Oh yeah. Well, we're connected, dude. It's
Yeah.
not just you and I either. You know, when
Yeah.
I realized it's not just you and I, when I read Bill Perkins' book, Die with Zero,
Yeah.
hedge fund manager, probably in the $50 million range, net worth guy. And now he's just like, why am I still spending 12 hours a day creating these green pieces of paper when I have a certain level? And then he's like me, where I was like, it costs me 6 to 8 grand a month to live. That's generally where I sit, 6 to 8
Yeah.
grand.
Yeah.
Beyond it, so I'm well beyond that. And I'm like, why am I risking anything else at this point? Why am I not living even harder than
Yeah.
I was living before?
Yeah.
Because we've all been trained by formal society and exposure to social media and what's cool and more
Yeah.
and more and more. And you hit 1 billion, now you want two, you hit two, now you want four, you hit four, now you want to be like Elon Musk and have 350. Oh shit, I'm 95. I forgot to live.
Yeah. And your casket size is the same size as
It's the
Elon
same
Musk's
size.
anyway. Yeah. It
And you ain't
doesn't make
taking
a
it with you.
difference. Yeah, taking it with you. You don't have
Yeah.
draws, as they say, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's happening with you now? So you've left Boston permanently, or are you still back and forth, or
Yeah, no,
and what are you personally trying to do?
I spend a majority of my time in Mexico. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm
Mm.
really an expat, but when I go to the US, I spend my time in the New Hampshire and Boston area. I
Okay.
have a real
Okay.
estate business that I started back in 2013. We were house flippers when we started. Then we started buying more to buy and hold, of course, which is the part that I like. But like you
Me
said, it
too.
depends.
Me too.
It
Yep. Yep.
depends on how the deal works. And I retired from Granite, and
Mm-hmm.
that happened in December of this past year. And I had a long ride with them, and it was a good ride for while it lasted, and it allowed me to do things like the wealth building project. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to be able to do the wealth building project if I didn't have Granite to help me along the way. So, but people like you have inspired me along the way because your message has helped me personally. And I know that and can see that you have helped a lot of people as well. And I want to stay connected
That's me.
to
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
want to stay connected to that. And I want, so the Wealth Building Project is a podcast too, as well. And we try to bring together folks that are speaking our language, that are,
Mm-hmm.
kind of towing the same rope that we're towing, and where our viewers can get a nugget or two, or a kernel, as we like to say, that'll
Mm-hmm.
help them pop. That will help them maybe discover their own, their own way of living. Because, like you said, a lot of times, I was a W-2, and now I'm realizing as I'm retired from Granite, but not retired from life, as you would like to
We
say.
never retire. We never
Yeah, you never
retire.
retire, right?
No.
As Warren Buffett says, I think I'll retire 5 years after I die.
Right.
I think that's probably the better the
Yeah.
better part to say it. But
Yeah.
so where you have folks like you are true ambassadors to living your life the way it should be lived, being able to connect with people and places without being tied to things, and having this spirit that allows you to be free, truly free. I think you have the best chance of getting the peace of mind that we're talking about. Peace of
Agree.
mind is the
Agree.
part that everybody strives for, but yet we're always off balance, right? Life's a balancing act. Everybody says, "Oh, you got to balance," but it's not balance; it's balancing. That's a plural. Like, you're never entirely balanced. You're
But
always balancing.
but and it never stops because
Never.
you're always changing. We're always shifting. So then you want something else. So where I
Yeah.
am in Cyprus today, and then I want to tell you something about what I've seen in all my coaching students. But where I am in Cyprus today, I'm I'm developing two plots of land. Like one is a neighborhood of 12 villas, and I'm keeping one of them for myself. And
Oh,
then the
wow.
other one is like a resort that has 58 what we would call condos,
Oh,
but
wow.
58 condos and a restaurant and spa and all this type of stuff. All right. So I come up here today. I've been spending more time in Beirut, as most people know, but
Uh-huh.
I'm in Cyprus today, and I go to look at the villa that I built for myself, and I
Uh-huh.
walk. It's being built. It's being built. The frame is up. So I walk up
Yeah.
to the second floor, and I see the amazing view of the Mediterranean and all that. 4 years ago, when I started, I'm like, man, it's too quiet here. I don't want this. Like, okay, I'm gonna keep it, but I'll probably end up selling it. Now, because I hit 49 and my brain is evolving, my feelings, my emotion, my alignment is different.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
come today and I'm like, oh my God, I'm right on time. I'm right on time. This is exactly what I want, and this is
Yes.
exactly where I want to be. We're all shifting. But I want to go back to, because when I was in Beirut, all the time in Beirut, I wanted Beirut's like vibe.
Yeah.
It's jumping, it's popping. Well, there's war too, but it's jumping, it's
Yeah.
popping, and da, da, da. So we shift.
Yeah.
Most of the people that I'm coaching, or not all of them, including myself for a long period of time, what you
Uh-huh.
said was valid.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that they were chasing some destination, some title, a certain amount of money, or whatever. And that's not what they're searching. They're
Yeah.
searching for good emotions on a day-to-day basis and peace
Hmm.
of mind.
Yeah.
And then once they realize that peace of mind is the ultimate, then they kick into another level of realizing that other people's opinions of how you live and where you live has no it's none of your business. You just
Yeah.
let it go. So
That's
like
right.
even some of the boys that I don't hang out with anymore, they're like, "Where are you? Beirut?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yeah.
Cyprus? Where are you? Turkey? What are you doing? Why would you be there? Like there's great stuff in New York." And I'll be like, "Great. How was a football game on Friday?"
How's the football?
You just kind of leave that sphere of caring what anybody thinks in favor of your own personal
That's
peace.
right. That's right.
It's
That's
just
right.
personal peace, man.
That's right, my man. But
Yeah.
let me ask you this, where your
Yeah.
Try Life On mission starts, I think it
Yeah.
starts the youngest with the youngest possible individual. And so with the wealth building project, what my goal and my mission is to provide wealth education starting
Yeah.
as young as possible. Because like you say, because I followed you and I've admired what you've done for so many years, you were the 20-year-old that went to the library to read. But
Yeah.
what about those that don't do that and haven't been
Yeah.
coached to do that?
Yeah.
Um,
Or just don't have the self-starterness about it, or all the noise is too loud. So they're just like reading clips on LinkedIn and it's enough or something like that.
That's right. So what I'm trying to do is to conceptualize your concept and everything that your concept means,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the concepts of others per se, and creating a virtual type school, right? I
Oh.
think that the virtual school concept, when I say a virtual school, I'm talking about literally something that can be extracted from an app. Like you
Mm.
see Bigger Pockets, for example. Um, I've invested in some other companies that technology and software related. And one of the platforms we're looking to roll out is a wealth education technology platform to the school systems across
Oh,
the
yes. You
US.
mentioned. Yes. I
Yeah.
vaguely remember.
And I don't know exactly how it's all going to play out, but what I think part of the wealth education system should include is what you teach across your platforms, which is this mindset that you don't have to be tied down to money as a physical thing, that money is a tool. It's a tool towards freedom, right? It's
Yeah,
a tool
for sure.
towards the things that we've been just talking about on this call. And I think that that is a powerful thing that I'm hoping that we can create with the wealth education really application and getting that application into our school systems, but not just into the school systems, but other institutions that could benefit from it. Because simply from an
Right.
educational standpoint, like the big financial services companies like the Bank of Americas and JP Morgans and all these big investment companies don't really have a game, so to speak, or they don't have a horse in the race, as we say, to get into the school systems. So it's just not their play. They don't want to do what the wealth building project would purport to do in the school systems, which is to empower that next generation, because power, exploitation, control, manipulation, fear, right? That's what big corporations try to do. And we want to try to keep everybody down. That's what it seems to be like the big thing that all these big corporations try to do. You see all these things on Netflix that come out, about talking bad about Amazon and why you should stop buying things, for example, which is, I think, plays right into the wealth building project, which is our minimalistic approach to life. It's if you're going to buy stuff that doesn't mean anything, why would you buy it?
That's right.
And that's part of what you talk about with your model. So at the end of the day, what I guess I'm trying to say, and my hope is that I'm looking to roll out this platform. It's not going to necessarily.
Anytime I can help, man. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Not only am I all about it, I think it's paramount. I think it's paramount, but people think this is why of course I talk about money.
Yeah.
But I talk about it from an empowerment perspective, and then it's just a tool, but people grab onto the money.
Yeah.
And then that's why I started leaning into talking about everything from a life perspective and purpose and relationships. And oh, by the way, there's also this fifth freedom of financial freedom that plays a role, but it's not the dominant thing. Like I'm sitting in this restaurant. I told you I had a steak.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a beer today. I had a good one too. It was a nice one.
I gotta meet you there and have a beer with you, my man.
Come. And then I made a post about it. Let me run this down. This is okay. So if anyone ever hears this, I travel hacked my way here. So it's $206 from Maryland to Zurich, Switzerland, business class. $206 because it was a mileage ticket, but I had to pay a little bit of cash. Then it was $312 for a fully paid ticket from Zurich to Larnaca, Cyprus, where I am now. I'm on the island of Cyprus. And then it was $0 to stay at my buddy's house, right? It was $0 to go for an 8-mile walk on the Mediterranean Sea. It was $0 to go review the work projects that I'm doing. And then today is the first time that I've eaten since I got here. And this meal will probably be $22. And I've been sitting in here for 6 hours almost doing work all day. Oh, it's a lot. No, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. There has to be a little bit of money behind there, or a few assets behind there, so you can take care of yourself. But people don't need millions and millions. They need a mindset. No. They need to know how the ins and outs work. It's that stuff that I figured out early. But it takes people a while to realize they don't need the 10 million that everyone is talking about at all.
They don't. But what you do with your model is you give anybody that's viewing you and everything you've done, which is amazing, is they see a plan. They see
a framework. I call it a framework. It's available to anyone for any reason.
It's a framework. That's a better word for what we're talking, which is we're speaking the same thing. And that framework is, yes, there is money that's involved, and money is a very important part of the component. But what you're saying is that
without a doubt,
the investment you make in yourself, which I'm sure is a big part of your coaching, is what and you found it in real estate. We both found it in real estate. Real estate allows you an opportunity to create passive income, but really it's you being intelligent and understanding how can I buy assets, because once I know where the asset is, it's going to pay me. If it's truly an asset, it will pay me. And that's the way real estate investors think, and we think alike in that respect too as well. So I just think I'm enamored by everything, and why I wanted to connect with you is because I am very eager to launch this curriculum, which I know is going to take some time. We are working with different folks who are professors to enable us the ability to get into the school system. But once we're in the school system as part of the app, I want it to be very interactive, almost like a master class. So in addition to getting the basic curriculum, they also get video manuals and video modules that would include someone like you, and it's your intellectual property.
Very cool.
And it's,
yeah,
I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm just telling you, I don't know if it is. But if I look at my mission and say, what do I really want? Like I call myself the chief meeting officer, right? Where is John going? Why is John going there? And what's in it for John to keep anybody along the ride with him? It's like a Jack Welch type thing. So I've retitled myself a chief meaning officer because my goal would be, how can I create meaning in somebody's life? I'm inherently an investor. And traditionally, what I've done is invested my time and money to help organizations achieve their goals. I helped Granite do that. It was a cordial relationship. It ended. And now I'm looking to do what you teach. I'm looking to be your student. I'm looking to learn from you, but I'm also looking to an opportunity to be able to connect with people who I know are the people I would want to stay connected to. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. That's why I started the Try Life on WhatsApp community a while ago.
Yeah.
So there's 60 Johns and Maurices in there. I purposely keep it small on purpose. It swelled. So, okay, so let me take a step back. I hear you. I'm appreciative. You have me as a resource for whatever it is you're trying to do. If you need more one-on-one attention to it, then we'll talk about that stuff on the side, whatever.
Yeah.
Community is a really big problem. It's a problem because you can learn all the concepts, let's say in the Try Life On world, the 25 plus principles, status quo is the default language, change from if only to what if, to remove your extraordinary, make your extraordinary ordinary. Like you can learn all these things and flip your mindset and start doing stuff, but if you don't have a community on the back end to help you sustain it, what happens is status quo starts to pull you back in.
Yeah.
And it's natural because everything around you is the old 20 to 30 years of formal school education programming that's telling you, listen, you're not really that cool unless you have this title from this company or something. And you get the feeling of, I think I should go back there because everybody's back. You get sucked back in. So I felt that, created our WhatsApp group, and it's uncanny how strong-minded people have remained because there is no questioning of thought process or mindset or anything. Like Julie or Karen down the street will be like, why would you do that? No, somebody goes into the group and they say, you know what, I'm going to build a life between, I'm thinking about somebody in particular. I'm going to build a life between DC and Costa Rica. I'm going to ask better questions of my job and get them to give me 2 days in the office, 5 days out of the office. So on day 3, I can go down to Costa Rica, and on day 4.7, I can fly back to DC. All right, so now I need that direct flight in between the two. Let me start practicing. He's literally doing this now. Let me start practicing how I get from DC to Santa Teresa, Costa Rica, and then let me optimize how I do it. Let me learn the plane cycles, how I do it. Great, now I got that done. Let me take the 2 or 3 assets that I have. I'm going to cash in a little bit of my 401k. I'm going to pay one of them off. That's now $3,000. I need to create another $2,000 for a total of $5,000, which makes me totally free in my ecosystem, in my world. And that's it. And he's chopping it off. So he knows, okay, then I only have to stay at this particular institution that's hiring me for 1 more year to get this done, and I'm out.
Yes.
But we have so what he's doing for his defined dream world, or what I call perfect day, he keeps bouncing it off of us. And any blocker he runs into, not one person in the group will say, that's too hard. Everybody says, all right, here's how you can solve it. Or here's an idea to solve it. Solve it. Talk to this person. Call John. Call Maurice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man. So I'd be happy to plug you in there because you're like-minded with people and you've been following this stuff for quite some time. It's powerful to have people like that, man. And everywhere I go now, I was just with my business partner who's part of that group. I was in Paris and I met somebody that I coached. When I connect through Frankfurt on the way back, I'm stopping to meet one of my coaching students. I'd rather be with my tribe than just live. This is where the mental diet stuff comes in. I just don't hang out with people who are not expansive minded anymore.
Yeah.
Doesn't make
Yeah.
sense for me anymore. I think
I
you're
love it.
talking about that a little bit.
You know what? That is exactly what I'm talking about. That was exactly what I was hoping to get out of this phone call too, as well. From
Yeah.
the part that I see, I don't think I can, I don't think I can boil the ocean with the education concept that I have, but I think with resources like you, it could potentially down the road, it's still a long ways away. But
Yeah.
when you mention mastermind, and what you're talking about is the group of folks that you have that come together, that bring ideas and concepts, because the individual that you mentioned, the one thing I would only raise to him, and he can certainly know what his storage documents look like, is he
Yeah.
burning capital, or is he not burning? Is he in a position where he can live off the interest of his investments, or does he have to go through a fire sale of everything, only to realize that he's going to run out of money? He's got a wife or a husband, or he's divorced and he's got child support. So you have to look at every condition and say, what does their financial picture really look like?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I think depending on that will determine what type of wisdom I would provide. But I'm not obviously not claiming to be a financial advisor, but I just simply look at it and say, I'm married and I have 3 kids, and the challenge with being married, of course, if anybody that I know that I'm speaking to that's married, is that you have to be on the same page.
Yeah, you got it. You absolutely. Yep.
With your wife. And divorce, just like separation and singlehood, is just a title, right?
Yep.
It's just a
Yep.
title. It's a piece of paper. If you're married, it doesn't mean anything to anybody. And I look at it and say that if you are married or you're partnered with somebody, being on the same page is a challenge. And honestly, I would love to join your group if you, even if I have to pay the dues, and I would be happy to pay the dues to do it.
The mastermind, or just the WhatsApp group itself,
or the WhatsApp the WhatsApp group, the mastermind. If there's like your Try Life On group is a group that I would love to marry myself to, because
I got you. Yeah,
because your Try Life On group and the mastermind and the ideas that you bring to your team members, and what you teach and what others teach you is powerful. Like,
that's the thing. People think I'm teaching everyone. It's actually not that. It's not that at all. I'm learning so much. I'm just Maurice, a very, very good facilitator.
You Maurice, I know it. You hit it right on the head. But I tell everybody that's part of the Wealth Building Project group, we need to have more events, whether they're webinars, virtuals, masterminds, networking events, nonprofit events. And as you know, Play for Peace is a big partner of ours.
Yeah.
Play, Peace, Progress, the financial literacy component, which is only a small component of the Wealth Building Project. It's an incubator to the it's an incubator to any concept that thinks like we do. And so the Wealth Building Project would disappear in the sense that my branding with that is really the Wealth Building Project is a metaphor for life. It's what it is, as I think I've mentioned to you. And the covenants that the 3 covenants: sales, wisdom, personal development, financial literacy, in no order of importance. It really boils down to one thing, and that is, how do you train yourself to believe that less is really more, and not more is more. And you and I, we've talked about it now over and over again. And I think in principle, what I guess I'm trying to say here is that I would love to join your mastermind team or your WhatsApp group, or however way and however often you guys get together, so that I can learn as well as offer. Yeah. I'm not claiming that I'm the only person that's going to be able to offer something to your group. I'm claiming that I know you as a leader, and I know you're a facilitator, but you're also a teacher. And I would continue to learn from you. You could learn from me. Your group would learn from me. They'll learn from you. It's this network and intricacy It's like if you've seen Avatar, remember the movie Avatar, where the plants and earth provided everybody the energy they needed to live. That's what our group is.
Yeah.
It's Planet Avatar.
And I covet that role. So in talking, so there's a bunch of things that I do. The one-on-one coaching and the consultation is not what you're talking about, nor do I even think you need it. The WhatsApp group is a no-brainer. Usually the WhatsApp group is people who've gone through one-on-one coaching or consultation because they speak the Tri-Life On language.
Yeah.
But you've been following this stuff for so long. I'm very happy to just put you in there anyway, because you have a lot to offer the people who are in there. The mastermind is something a little bit more intentional, the way that you're talking about. I never wanted to do group anything. I think that people are so individual, and I'm not a transactional person. I like deep relationships, leaning into people, learning about people's lives, holding myself accountable. So finally, 3 months ago, one of my coaching students who's in the real estate space, but he lives between Atlanta and Australia, he goes, Maurice, I'm going to hold you accountable like you always tell me to. I said, okay, is there something that I did? He said, no, that's the problem. You're not doing a mastermind. You're teaching everyone how to fish, and then you're putting us in the boat, and then you're pushing us out into the ocean, and we don't have enough support to keep the momentum going. We want to be around more people who are thinking this way, come up with more ideas that we can share with a broader swath of people. And what is also, I'm starting to realize this now, the beauty of the whole Tri-Life On endeavor, if you will, is us.
Yeah.
Like, you're in Mexico. Where are you in Mexico, by the way?
Monterrey, San
Pedro. You're in San Pedro. I'm in Cyprus today. I'll be in Beirut tomorrow. Who else is in that mastermind? My friend Colin from Aussie. There's a banker from France, another banker from Jamaica, a bunch of people from the US. But we've become so tight. We haven't even started yet. We're just talking in a subset group. We've become so tight already that everybody feels empowered for all of what I call the perfect day and their lifestyle blueprints. We haven't even gotten together as a group yet, and everyone's going nuts on, we're going to do this, help me with this, got it, I'm going to do this, I'm motivated, can't wait, here we go. Man, when you get around that, the ideas that come out of 11 individuals, the summation of it is if you had, I don't know, a powerhouse of people behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think you're speaking more of that, but I will still throw you into the WhatsApp group and introduce you and stuff. And I'll send you the mastermind stuff. You consider if you want to be there.
Yeah.
We start in earnest January the 28th. Right now we're just doing one-to-one calls where I'm priming everybody, and then we're meeting once a week. But once a week is not once a week together, but we're always talking. And then we're all coming together in person at my house in October on the Maryland coast at my place, which is me challenging myself because I don't typically do stuff like that. Like, I'm not a host. To bring us all together as a family. And then, it's going to be phenomenal, actually. I'm so excited for it.
I would do the same thing. I have a beach house in Mexico in Tulum. Oof. If you want, we can use that too as well. We can carve out some time and do have a mindfulness section.
Yeah, man. And I bet you there would be a subset, if not all people, who would actually come. And the thing is, it's not because I've gone to a few masterminds, but I've been now speaking at them quite a bit. I don't need the fully decked out at the Hilton. That's not what I care about.
No.
What I care about is when good people who speak the same language are trying to do really good shit together, are just breaking bread somewhere better at somebody's house, because it's personal,
That's right.
Right. The bathroom over there works, but jiggle the seat a little bit to get it to work a little bit better. And I just want to be with people. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing for the people in the crew too.
That's right. And I was saying only the Mexico thing because when you go to Mexico, a lot of times people don't realize there's a different rhythm. You come to Mexico, you take it down 500 notches from the U.S. rhythm that I think and what you're looking to also emotionally escape is the rhythm.
I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's the thing, that they get an experience that they're not accustomed to, because the warmth and humility of the Mexican people, it's not like what the news says. It's unfortunate that the news paints the picture that it does. You and I,
Yeah.
we think the same way.
Oh,
I think,
I know,
yeah,
very different. Mexico's beautiful. Any country, dude. I'm living in Beirut when, unfortunately, Israel was dropping bombs.
yeah, I know.
Everywhere in the world has, and people were like, "Why are you staying there?" And then I said to them, "Why are you staying in the U.S. if Chicago, everyone's killing everybody?"
True. It's
When
true.
2.5 million people leave Beirut, then I will leave.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
when all of
until
Mexico
then, right.
to move to Ecuador, then John will leave. No, we're
Yeah,
gonna go where you feel good. That's the thing. People are
that's right.
staying in places just because it looks good. No,
That's
I
right.
want to be somewhere where I feel good
That's right.
every single day, and I pop out of bed ready to
Yeah.
go and stuff. It's
So
yeah, man.
let's tuck this one in, because what you just said is so important. And I think it's important for, if you were to ever share this,
Yeah.
a lot of people come to me and say the same thing. They say, "Hey, John, why are you in Mexico? And what's the reason you're there?" And it's the same reason that you talk about when you speak about geographic freedom. I was fortunate to be able
Mm.
to work remote at the time when I was working for the company that I was working for, where they didn't allow remote work, but I had been working remote since 2006, 2006.
Uh-huh.
And the reason I was working remote was because, one second, I was because my wife had an immigration problem. And so she ended up getting it fixed, but we moved to Mexico, and I worked for a technology company. And so remote working was possible, but I was one of the original remote
Mm.
workers.
Mm.
And what I realized was, it wasn't just about the cost of living that was less, but there was also a different rhythm of life. There was
Got you.
also,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
there was a different,
yes, yes, yes. And it
yeah,
permeates into you.
that's right.
But the rhythm of life that you have in Mexico, or the rhythm that you had or still have sometimes in New Hampshire and
Yeah.
Massachusetts, the rhythm that I have in Maryland,
Mhm.
it aligns with who we are at a certain period of time. I
Yep.
try to explain to people, I'm 49 years old, so I've done 40 plus years East Coast. Born
Yeah.
in New York, raised in Boston, ended up in the Washington, D.C. area by way of University of Virginia. I've done the East Coast. I know
Yeah.
the East Coast. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for the East Coast. I like the
Yes.
Eastern Mediterranean now. So when people ask me, why are you there? I'm just, because it feels good. I
Because
want
it
to feel
feels good.
good. I like to feel
Yes.
good. Yeah,
Yes.
it's
It's
not
what,
because it's the best place in the world by any means. I just feel good here.
but let's capture what you said. You feel good, and that's what you like. And you
That's
do
what I
that
like.
because
That's
what
my
you
life.
like. And I feel as though too many people, I talk to so many people, I talk to people all the time, but they are relegating themselves to doing things that they don't like, whether it's a W-2 job, whether it's where they live. Oh, my cost of living is so high, or I can't pay my bills, or my son's education is so expensive, I don't know how I'm going to deal with college. They
Mm.
don't internally take their own plan and say, how can I accomplish my goals? How can I accomplish my goals, and what can I do? Instead, they continue down the path, like we
They
talked
just
about,
continue down the path.
of
Yep.
misery.
Of
Of misery.
misery because the opinions of peers, coworkers, neighbors, and their family is telling them that to be successful, they have to put on the three-piece suit. They have
That's
to
right.
live in downtown Manhattan.
That's right.
What is wrong with coastal Alabama? If
That's
if
right.
if you're in Manhattan and your cost of living is $15,000 a month just for housing and transportation,
Yeah.
okay, you're making a choice. I made a
Right.
choice to live in DC. I did.
Right.
I made that choice. I had to do more to be able to. But
Right.
there are people who get up and bounce. They go to
Yeah.
Oklahoma or Alabama or
Yeah.
Cyprus like me or Mexico
Right.
like you because we're
Yeah.
choosing.
That's
But
right.
people are so stuck
That's
in
right.
opinions.
That's right.
And I don't blame them. I want to give people a pass.
That's right.
20 to 30 years formal education telling us what to be, what to look like, work for this company, get this title. Do you know how hard it is for people to unlearn that?
Undo that. Undo it.
It's so insane how difficult it is for people. But once you undo it, you what I say is once once you have gotten to a point where you cannot unsee what you've seen or
Yeah.
cannot unfeel what I felt. I cannot
Yes.
unfeel my feelings in the Eastern Mediterranean. The status quo has lost you forever.
Yeah.
You,
Yes.
you cannot, it's not possible. That's why all the people down in Costa Rica or the people who love LA or the people who love, let's say, coastal Seattle, they felt
Yeah.
something and they're like, you know what? I'm good. I'm never going back to that nonsense and all that type of stuff. And
Well, so
yeah, it's just helping people get there.
let me just add to what you said, because I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'll use the example, and it's probably not the best example, but there's two reasons people would buy a Ferrari. First, they could buy the Ferrari because they look good in the Ferrari.
They look good in it, yeah.
Or they buy the Ferrari because they want to drive fast. Maybe both reasons aren't really good. But what I need help with, and I'm telling you, a lot of people need help with, is, like you said, the unlearning process.
The unlearning process. Yeah.
Because for me, I'm fine with
the unlearning process.
I'm fine with nothing, Mo.
Mhm.
I'm fine with nothing now in my life. I don't need to go buy a nice car. I don't need a nice suit. This is the nicest coat I've put on in the last year, I think. I have a shirt that I bought from Costco. This hat was
Nice hat, by
like,
the way.
I think, the best investment I made. But because it's got this little saying up here that everybody thinks, oh, is this just about money? But it's not really about money. It's about wellness. And
Yeah.
I just think the unlearning part is a part I need to do too, because we confuse things. We're confused. Yes, we realize, oh, geez, I'm in Boston, or I'm in New York, or I'm in Los Angeles, I'm in Chicago. It's very expensive to be there. If I did change my standard of living, my latitude, no pun intended, but I change my standard of living so that it affords me the ability to not let myself think I'm going to have to live up to somebody else's standards. I'm just going to make the standard my standard. And I'm going to align with my partner. I'm going to align with my kids. I'm going to make my best rule book for myself that will allow them to accept me for exactly the person I am.
That's it.
That's it.
And one of the ways you can articulate that in a phrase is when you're trying to get that across to people, you can just tell them, hey, just try life on this way. Just for a little while.
Yeah.
Just do it this way. And what I express to people, life is not a destination. You and I know that.
Yeah.
But I tell people, okay, so you want to live between DC and Costa Rica, or you want to be a police officer, or you want to be a real estate investor? Go practice it for a week.
Yeah.
Like, literally get on a plane and practice living in between those two locations. Don't stay in a hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get a small apartment for $300 that's next to the grocery store, so you can talk to the guy, Juan or Juanita, who owns it. How did you do this? Walk down to the park, etc. Or go on a ride along with police officers every day for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Go practice it. Go try that life on. It's like a coat.
Yeah.
Into your system, and you align to it, you can't unfeel it.
Yes.
You can't unfeel it, right? So the framework that I use is to help people get so much emotion from, let's say, ideation of that life or visualizing that perfect day, and then get rid of the blockers to getting to that perfect day, and then to go practice it. And once they practice it, they realize, oh my God, I could have been doing this forever.
Yeah, you know what? I think you just hit the nail right on the head. I could have been doing this forever. I could have been doing this all along. It took me up to this mastermind or this virtual webinar we've done with this amazing group of people to realize that this is the way I should be living my life, and that tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Actually, even the next minute isn't guaranteed. Hopefully, I don't die of a heart attack before this call ends. Right? So, you know what I mean? It's all, we're talking the same thing. So I love it. I love everything you're doing. I love the Try Life On model. I love the Try Life On concept as an ability to bring together a community. And because really what you're saying is, if you don't try life on, it will take over. It will.
It takes over. The default grabs you. You just
default
accept
grabs
the
you.
default. You just accept the default. But a
You
lot of
accept
people
the
don't
default.
realize that they are living by default. And
Yeah.
I don't blame them. And it's part of my mission to help wake people up, which is why I do stuff like this. And there's so much out here, man. But anyways, all right. So yeah, consider me a resource. Consider me a
Yeah.
brother. Consider me a resource. I'll
Yeah.
send you the mastermind stuff too. But
Yeah.
the WhatsApp group itself, sure. And then whatever I can do, whether it's the wealth building project or if you rebrand it to something else, or
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
the newsletter that I just put out, newsletter 40. If you go to the website, trylifeon.com, newsletter 40,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
read that one thing, and that is enough for you to, like, if you were going to do the app or something, right? That would be enough of understanding of the frame. I told people, you know, the reason this will be the last thing, and I got to run to this call. The reason
Yeah.
I wrote that newsletter is because I got a message on LinkedIn from this lady in Canada, and she told me that, Maurice, I've been tracking you for about 2 years.
Yeah.
I did all the Try Life On exercises, perfect day, lifestyle blueprint, financial blueprint, and I want you to know that my husband found you when he lost his job twice in 2023. But because we did all this stuff, we created our perfect day, we did this, he's making 10 times more, or whatever she said, 10 times more than he's making now. And for the first time, we're going back to, I won't say the name of the country to give them away, but we're going back to this Northern African country with our kids because he hasn't been there in 30 years because he wants to try life on with his family. I almost cried. And I said to myself, these people had to like piece together my newsletters, my podcasts, my LinkedIn posts. So I created a map and I published it as a newsletter saying, you don't need me as a coach. You just don't. But if you want accountability, I can help you because I'm unapologetic about life. But I mapped it in newsletter 40. That will be enough, let's say, for inclusion into the wealth building project or whatever, to get a sense of what.
Yeah, no, I think the wealth education technology platform, I don't think it's going to be called the Wealth Building Project. The Wealth Building Project is just an incubator. It's just all it is just, it's really just me connecting to you and the Try Life On
got you. Okay.
movement.
Okay.
That's it. It would disappear in the background. I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's only. I tried to use it for as a nonprofit incubator originally. It was a foundational concept. It was my way of being philanthropic, giving my time and treasure, time and money per se. Play for Peace was one of those companies that I just liked getting behind. I thought bringing together communities in non-political concepts. It's not you're Democrat or you're Republican. No, it's a united effort. That's what I love about it. And that they had this deep desire to bring financial literacy to communities, helping people that don't look like me.
Gotcha.
Right?
Cool. Yeah.
And that was what was cool too about it. But financial literacy is much more broad. It's about
broad, and
helping.
It's not always about money either.
No, it isn't. And that's where wellness and wealth education comes in. And I know you got to hop.
I do.
But this has been great. Yeah, if you could kick me into your WhatsApp chat, or
I will. I'll intro you, and you won't see the history. There's thousands of messages. You won't see that, but you'll see going forward.
Yeah,
I'll send you the mastermind stuff. We'll stay in touch, brother. Yeah. So good to connect with you, man. I really appreciate it.
Great connecting with you too as well, and I appreciate it. And like I said, sometimes the coaching thing is good too. So don't eliminate me as that. I would love to get your coaching concept for me, just to keep.
I'll send you a voice note. I'll send you a voice note, and I'll outline. Like, I didn't want to go into all that detail in this call, but I'll send you a voice note. I'll outline both, and then just hit me back, and you give me some feedback.
Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. Be well.
Yeah,
safe travels. Bye-bye.
Yeah, brother. Hey guys, this is Maurice, host of the Try Life On podcast, and thank you for listening to another episode. I hope you are finding it useful and helping you design your own lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from. If that's the case, please consider dropping a review for me, whether in Apple, iTunes, or in Spotify. Drop a review, put some stars on it, give me some feedback on how I can make the podcast better, what information you are looking for. I am doing my best to get information to you on the Try Life On principles, the 5 freedoms, how to build lifestyle, travel hacking, all of it.
and I want to do it for you. So please do a review for me. And until next time, my name is Maurice Philogene, and this is the Try Life On podcast. Peace.